herzlich willkommen zum Auf die Fresse, the WXW review podcast in English. I'm Ian Hamilton, joined by Mike Kilby. Mike, got a quick one here because this past weekend we had Fan Appreciation Night in Frankfurt, but before we get going into that, how's it going?
Going good. I am a fan and I am appreciated.
It was certainly a curious show, I think. A couple of changes, a couple of debuts. I guess, starting, may as well dive right into this. Of course, this was on WXW Now in German, Triller TV in English. Which one did you catch? Was it the English or the German this time around?
I watched it live on WXW Now in German. So yeah, I'm not really interested in Triller because I don't pay for it. So it's it's all I pay for WXW. So
yeah,
that's why I watch it on that.
So
I can tune out of the commentary. So.
And because how was it this time? Was Emil and Joey Sensation? Was it the Frankfurt lad?
Quite possibly, yes. I don't know.
I know because normally the English we use to Dave Bradshaw, but now we're going live. He's not in for all the big shows, so it's Met doing the English by himself, and then I don't say whether they can doing German, but it seems they're definitely splitting up into A, B, and C levels, I guess. But starting the pre-show, Anil Marek beating Ryan Clancy, I guess a rematch from Inner Circle back in March.
Yeah.
I guess decent. I guess Clancy's in for a couple of shows this month, so wouldn't have expected him to get the win unless they were telling a story of Marek, and you're not doing that in the pre-show. But I think this was the start of a lot of that sleep paralysis, high performing limited music for the evening. But anything noteworthy for you for the pre-show?
Not particularly. As I say, I think it was kind of Ryan Clancy was good that he came back. I think he was someone who showed a fair bit of promise. I think in his first trip over in March. He seems to have a few more dates anyway, so it feels a bit of a throwback to when we would get people stay on the tour for a couple of months just because they were over here for a sort of in the academy. So yeah, it was a good welcome return, I think.
So on to the main show, Ahura was meant to be taking on Elijah Blum. Igel went down for an injury, I believe, a weekend before, so quick change. Return of Marius Alani, first time since Carat 2022. And I guess in terms of these, I don't know if it's inadvertent or intended, the story they're telling for Ahura, he beat Tim Thatcher over Tag Festival weekend, beating a guy who, preferred to actually did portray as, I guess, the star of the COVID period, Marius Alani, win here, and they're doing it away from the spotlight. It's not like main event win after main event win. Who is very quietly building up that big winning run, and it's a lot of scalps as well. It's not like he's beating, all due respect, Aaron 20 times.
Yeah, he's racking up these wins against sort of very established opponents, and I think there's certainly an interesting direction they're going with that. It was announced on the Shotgun blog that he is going to be in 16 Carat, so he becomes the fourth entry, I believe.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good news. And say I always think there's especially on the big events, Ahura does tend to pull it out of the bag. Even if you will kind of go into them going, come on. But he does, he always does seem to do something a little bit wild that really does sort of set him above a lot of other people. I was actually really happy to see Alani back. I think he's kind of always been a bit of an unfashionable wrestler in WXW. I think especially, there's certain parts of the crowd maybe not too keen on him. But for me, he's kind of always been a bit of an integral part of at least my early interactions with WXW, and I think even to this day, I think even in this match, actually, it still showed that he can still go to a very good level. I think there was probably an argument. I think at one point, sort of coming out of COVID, he was probably the best wrestler in Germany by a fairly wide stretch, and it's kind of a shame that he's kind of dropped off. But he has been working elsewhere. I'd like to see him back least semi-regularly. Maybe sort of there was things which we'll probably talk about shortly from the Shotgun vlog, but hopefully there's something that can go a bit further with that. Because I have to admit I've always been a big fan of him, and I think he's. It's a shame that didn't really get to see much of his title run simply because he was during the closed era.
Yeah, I mean, during COVID, so like Carat 2020, before the world completely changed, he lost to Carat Noir in the first round.
Yeah.
And then the very next night, Daniel Maccabee night 2, and then that was the long unbeaten run. Yes, I am racking through cage match. Chris Ridgway, Mike Schwartz in the closed set shows, Heisenberg, Anil Marek, Avalanche, Johnny Evers. Where is he now? Dennis Sinner again. Focus on the single stuff. Hector. The whole run of the Catch Grand Prix, then through to beating Bobby Guns. Back end of the closed set days, and then all the way through to eventually losing the belt in Dresden to Axel Tischer. Well, 3 years ago. That feels a lot longer than 3 years ago, but yeah, since then, there's that whole thing of, well, we say this all the time, European wrestling in general has a hard time booking people after their main run. We've kind of seen with Bobby Guns.
Yeah.
But with Marius, again, this is just rattling off cage match, lost to Axman in Dresden, beat Johnny Rancid the next day in Leipzig. And I believe that was when we were taping everything. And I remember some promo about, I'm coming back, and then nothing. The next show from that was GWF in Berlin, the start of 2022.
He had the last minute replacement, wasn't he?
Yeah, No, it was for Biff Busick.
That's it.
He came down with COVID a couple of days before he beat Michael Knight night 1, then got injured, so they had to redo the whole Ambition thing. And I'm looking at cage match now, and Mouse's next match after that Carat match, Freeway with Joe Legend and Marty Skull, which I know from speaking to folk, has caused ill feeling, and maybe had some impact. Kept working with Unlimited then, a few bits of GWF. But yeah, it's like I say, has been going. Was it the vlog he has had? I don't know if it's been doing lately with Hector, the young Jim Pumpguns. That's kind of been like a. I would say undergrads because that'd be a bit snobby, but we've been running around parts of Europe as that, and we'll can touch on this later. But yeah, as for Ahura, this is me reading off cage match. Since let's have a look. So we're looking at only the televised stuff. You're looking at obviously lost in the semis to Iriate Carat. Win on the APC joint show, lost to Maggot at the Frankfurt show. So that was 2023. Then, of course, he retired, came back after at Carat this year. And that run, take out the town shows or the it was the FIBO, the bodybuilding convention stuff. A win against High Perform Limited in Frankfurt. A win over Fennec in Erfurt. Win over Anil Marek in Fulda. Lost to Peter Tihanyi in Dresden, True Colours. Axel Fox win in Leipzig. Anil Marek again, Axel Fox, LSG, beat Axman, beat Levinal by DQ Shortcut, Manders. Of course, lost to Matt Freeway, but didn't get pinned with Levinal Macardona. Win. So he's won way more than you'd expect since that Carat comeback. And
the problem with having quiet good runs is that it's so quiet that people don't realise.
Yes.
That is the one problem.
I mean, out of those wins, okay, you look for names, Joseph Fennick Jr., former tag champ. Anil Marek, you could say the whipping boy of High Perform Limited. But, Axman at Wrestling, AM in Frankfurt in this past July. Ahura, okay, Levinal by DQ, fair enough. Manders in Bielefeld, Timo at Tag Festival, and now Marius this past weekend. some pretty big names, and again, if WXW were running a lot more shows, this would probably be something that they'd be whipping out the old subtlety hammer with. But because they're running once, maybe twice a month, you're seeing it, but it's not the only thing that's getting whacked around your head on every show. Oh, he's beaten all these former champions. Oh, he beat Tim Thatcher. He's beat Maris Alani. He's beaten Axel Tischer. As it stands, he's called a shot. He's in Carat, and I'm a betting man. I would not be stunned if he won the whole thing. This is the kind of run they tend to give people who would, at the very least, to make it into the finals.
Yeah, at least a final four for sure. Yeah, no, that's something that it wouldn't surprise me. It's the sort of thing they do tend to do. Although I always feel that Carat can be a complete crapshoot and something can just come out of nowhere, a la this year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's not an unreasonable prediction at all.
I mean, not to compare the promotions, but at least it's not losing in a ladder match at a couple of days' notice for whatever belts. But yeah, GWF's going to GWF, I guess. Next up, we had Nick Schreier beating Rob Drake. I mean, there's a match or at least a guy I was not expecting to hit WXW. Rob Drake, brother of James Drake, Crystal Young Veterans fame.
Didn't even put two and two together, yeah. Okay.
Neither did I. It was Met on the English feed that put that over.
Right.
So, yeah, that would kind of explain. I mean, facially, I guess, you probably get it eventually. But yeah, so Drake, those who, I would say, don't pay much attention, he's had a few runs in Progress, but I wouldn't say really that big name. I mean, like right now, it doesn't even have a cage match, so good luck joining with us. But yeah, pretty big, like the northwest of England, that kind of area. But yeah, hey, breaking out, he's trying new stuff. And what I would say for this particular match, he was the, I don't say hired gun, because I don't think it was the Mike Deese doing a murderous row of opponents for Nick, but he was the big bloke that Nick Schreier had to overcome.
Yep.
Fit the role to a T. Did exactly what he wanted, and acquitted himself well, I guess is the way you would say if you just flying in and out here.
Yeah, I say I wasn't hugely impressed with this, but I did think Nick sort of had a lot of. This wasn't anything to do with Rob Drake; it was all about Nick. So Nick kind of did the bits and pieces he needed to do, sort of in that respect. So yeah, this was fine for that sort of match, but it was. I think it comes on to a few problems I think I had with this show anyway, but we'll get onto them.
Next up, my sleep paralysis returns. We had the High Performer Limited music. They threatened High Performer Limited Appreciation Night, and I just had visions of NWO sold out. Just keep the the Miss NWO contest outfit. I don't think that's going to fly in 2024. Again, I think it's a match. Like, one thing that really struck me, this is Baby Allison, Jane Nero. Baby Allison, fairly local to Frankfurt. No reaction, not even like you turned on us boos. Like, I was having to check if the volumes were all fucked up.
You would have, I mean, I didn't watch the translated thing, but there wasn't anything to do with, they didn't put over the fact that, like, she screwed Maggot out of anything, did they?
It came up, but like that was something to me, and no Maggot on this show, which was a bit. That whole thing seemed to be very downplayed. Like, it was mentioned because, of course, that's how she's back in High Performer. But yeah, to me, this just felt very like I don't like. They got rid of women's division a year ago, so I'm not going to go through the whole thing on Cage Match, but very few away from what would have been women's division matches into WXW this year.
Yeah. And
it's a point now where we've said this countless times. If you're wrestling, and granted, Anita Vaughn, shotgun champion, and spoiler, she's going to be defending against Stephanie Mays and Hamburg in a couple of weeks. But you've got Jane Nero, with all due respect, is new to WXW. Like, she's not established. She's not even shotgun title. I don't say fodder, but not even the mix of that, unless we do like a 10-way gauntlet or something like that. So I think this was a match where everyone kind of guessed, Baby Allison's just gotten back into the group. She's not going. No, we're not going to do the banana peel. Oh, I lose. Oh, you're angry at me again. So this just felt like almost like a foregone conclusion, and the crowd, just did not react. Which I mean, again, we'll touch on. I heard for sure. I think there's a lot of this where a crowd just did not play along with a lot of this, and it made especially the undercard feel like a real slog to get through.
Yeah, it kind of did make it felt like there was, I feel if it was me, I would have made a bigger thing of the whole mega term, especially in Frankfurt, because it's just nobody cared. That was the problem.
Yeah.
I suppose we'll go on to it ties into the next match as well. So, next match being Fennec versus Sean Legacy. Now, this is effectively, and I'm going to include actually a few other little matches later on. There were so many matches on this card with people who aren't really established in WXW or very, very fresh in WXW or have no ties to WXW whatsoever. And there was too many of them matches where you just like, nobody cares about them. Nobody cared about them because it was just, they were wrestling for the sake of wrestling, it felt like some of them.
Yeah.
I don't know what your thoughts are on the same, but
It's like, for me, and no, we'll name names just because we can know the examples.
And it's not a dig at these people.
It's like it's not dig. It's not a dig at you, Ryan Clancy. It's not a dig at you, Rob Drakes. You, Jane News, who has been around a fair bit, but in terms of any degree of regularity, no. Sean Legacy, he's on a tour of Europe. I know he's one of the many, it seems, getting this WWID thing, which whatever the hell that's going to be, we can pick on that in a second. But you've got like pretty much every, and we're not even throw Marius in because he's not been around for the thick end of 2 years. So every single match of that first half of the show so far was pretty much like, did anybody really think Anil Mark was going to lose that opener? Did anybody think, okay, maybe Maris Alani, if I was going to, be a shock comeback and then derail, what the building for her? Rob Drake?
I wouldn't have hated that because if they'd said, "Oh, we're doing her Alani at the next show," you'd be like, "Okay, 1 for 1."
Yeah.
Something up, and you could do blow off on.
Well, we'll throw that one out because Maris has had the long history, but you're looking like 4 of the first 5 matches, and it's all okay. It's all due to some degree, it's flying or outsider against home guy, and it's like, it just didn't work. Like, the Phoenix stuff, they apparently said he's relocated to Frankfurt, which I don't trust my translation of that, but yeah, it's like, as a match like this is Phoenix's first match since Carat, which I know there's been injuries and whatever hell went on, with the dissension in high performance before they reshaped, late in the summer. It's a fine match. It's a decent match. Like, I know my review I said with there's not for you the Blue Sky thread I was doing when I was watching on Sunday.
Yeah,
I can see why WWE's got some interest in it because he was doing the whole play for camera stuff. The guy looks like he works out. He's got that sort of TV look there. But at the same point, there's also that touch of there's some polish needed. There's like the springboard cutter, which, can we please have a moratorium on that? I feel like that's in every show numerous times. And then we had the finish of, yet more distraction from forward ringside. It's like, really? Like, and I'm not going to do the whole, well, it's because he's WWID. No, that's...
that's
but it plays into the high performing stuff. But to me, it just felt like you've got a guy coming in, right? I mean, is he even on the... Yeah, he is on the Hamburg show, but after that, he'll be done. So he's on 2 shows. And I get, he knows the whole... He nearly beat Fennec, but, until, Forver got involved. But it's like, again, you're asking the crowd that has seen this 4 times already tonight, 3 times already tonight, to invest in a guy who, unless they've seen GWF, unless they're deep into their IWTV subscriptions...
Yeah.
Won't know Sean Legacy from Adam. And that's not a dig at him. No. But it's like, if you're asking folks to, see a guy new to them, get involved against, all due respect to Fennec, a guy who's barely been around, or at least working with WXW lately, it's another one where it was fine, but if you asked me to sum up, this match you need to watch, maybe it's part of some kind of long-term thing, but based on what we have now, absolutely not.
Yeah, no.
And it's just no, really,
It's a match for the sake of a match.
yeah. So a lot of that first half just felt like very there, which when you
It's a shame.
yeah, and when we've said this before, when you look at all the wrestling that's out there, it feels like every weekend somewhat there's multiple shows, multiple continents being streamed live. This is one of them, part of Trill if you've got that or whatever subscription service you've got. It's like you need to have more than that. We're past the whole thing of hey, it's a big name, it's a name from America. That don't cut it anymore. But again, it is what it is. But moving on, we did have some storyline teeth. Lawrence Strowman and Youngblood beating Robert Dreisker and KXS. So they've got matches in Hamburg for this. Not Axeman. KXS against Youngblood, Tornado tag match for the tag belts, and of course Roman and Dreisker in a street fight for the number one contendership spot. So, for me, I would say this was perhaps the best thing on the show, just because 6-man tags rarely go wrong. Like especially with the level of quality in this match, it would have had to have been an absolute disaster.
Tornado ones do.
Well, yeah. But this particular one, like these 6 names, it would have had to have been an absolute nightmare for this to have not been good, and thankfully it was, because for me this was the match of the night, even though it was slim pickings.
Yeah, I think there was. I preferred the main to this personally, but I did think this was a sort of good number 2. Like you say, it was the WWE's kind of established itself as a place where the Tornado Lucha tag, as they sort of do sometimes call it, works really, really well. And even though these are probably 6 of the least Lucha Libre wrestlers in the world, it still worked very well.
Yeah.
But yeah, this felt like something that really entirely justified itself being on this card, because it was a big match, big match with big implications for 2 box office feuds in WXW, 2 of the big feuds.
He had the early part of the bad guys, using all the usual tactics, sneak attacks, get the good guys angry, get the referee distracted through their anger, wash, rinse, repeat. And like the stuff with Oscar and Dreisker, I thought was really good. The fact that they played up the old stuff they had with the when the feuded over the Academy stuff. When Dreisker wrecked that Academy trophy before Oscar went back to Japan. But yeah, it's one of those where, because you had 2 big time matches coming, like the finish, to me didn't tip anything off. It was Roman beating Dreisker, so you've got hey, I've beaten you again, going into that street fight. But to me, it didn't necessarily tip off like these matches can easily do. Oh well, Dreisker lost, so that means he's going to win the next time they meet. Same again, you didn't touch, the finish didn't involve KXS or Youngblood, and it'd been so easy to have, Dreisker pin Yuto or something like that, or Yuto pin Dreisker or what have you. So they did finish, which kept that street fight thing going. And if you want to run down this again on future town shows, maybe even we announce Back to the Roots next year, maybe even Kayfabe Schlacht, if they can keep that trundling on.
Yeah, I think that's sort of there's enough sort of bite to this. I think that it could certainly keep it there. And as I say, this is as a sort of a pair of feuds anyway. There's enough, ultimately for the Kayfabe Schlacht, you need Dreisker in there because he's the best wrestler at that match type. Really, I feel like he, as I've said 100 times, he's the best sort of walk and brawl / hardcore wrestler in WXW. That's an unreasonable thing to say. So you need him to be around these feuds, which is like where he's justified being in there, because otherwise the Kayfabe Schlacht kind of fell apart. Because I think the one this past year was he wasn't involved, was he?
Things for year when he was out injured, I think, or
yeah, he was kind of was. there was a year where he didn't do the Kayfabe Schlag. No, sorry, this year the Kayfabe Schlag he wasn't in it because the Kayfabe Schlag was
It was a singles match. Yeah, it was Fennec and
Fennec,
Digel. Yeah.
which for me didn't work at all. So yeah, you need a big bloody match again, I think, for this year to get the stip back to something we can get us sink our teeth into. So yeah, this was good. Ultimately, this was good stuff. Really, really enjoyable stuff. But and hopefully is at least a little shimmer of hope in amongst this.
Moving on, so on the live feed was it Bobby Guns and Cara Noir from First Catch Grand Prix they put up, which was a decent enough time filler. Coming back live, Alex Duke beating Aaron Insane. So I guess coming out of Tag Festival, the whole deal was Alex Duke was fed with being out, shown up by his trainers. So this was, I guess, fine, I guess, but it was more of a storyline beat of, hey, I've beaten the guy who trained me. Yeah, again, it was another one just... I think there's that one guy in the crowd who kept wandering on screen for Big Foam Finger. Really hated that, but yeah, there seems building up to something with Duke and Norman House at some point, but yeah, again, this, in terms of the storyline, it made sense. It just didn't seem to work live, I guess.
Alex
or
Duke
at least
strikes me as a wrestler who we won't realise he's arrived until he is well and truly here. He's somebody who I could entirely see turning up at Carat and really pushing himself into a position we had no. You know how like Lavagno kind of all of a sudden is like, oh, he's in the title picture. Alex Duke's got the same vibe for me.
I mean, he isn't doing the whole, the comedy stuff, but yeah, be fair with Alex Duke, he's a guy who, he's been around for, he's only been around a few years, but he's one of those names who you feel like he's been around for ages. I'm just flipping through his cage match and, he's been going since, so he pretty much came up through the COVID era, debut for Fight Back when they start doing before they were renamed Fight Back. But he's been going on a lot of that level of stuff, WXW Academy stuff when they were coming back after COVID. Oh, Don Sheen, the poster boys, back when GWF were doing the Who's Next stuff, so that's kind of bled onto that. So he's still kind of been teaming with Don Sheen, but also split off in WXW obviously now with Norman. But yes, he is definitely putting the rounds in the fact that in really since 2023 and 2024, 120 matches pretty much in 2 years. That's someone who isn't happy just to sit back and go, I'll do the show every month. Yeah. He's doing the rounds, he's putting the reps in, and that's absolutely all you need. Exactly. So yeah, I mean, very much in WXW, he's very much pre-show, comedy undercard tag guy. I could could very easily see maybe the Carat where he does have a breakout or somewhere where it's not just he's the guy who's teaming with Norman and complain that he's always in the with Norman, he was in the spot with Nick Gage last year, and then the good Kale Holding this year, that kind of stuff. So very much he's bubbling up, and see when that moment comes, because you feel it. Knowing WXW, it'll happen when you least expect it.
Exactly.
And it may not be when they plan it to happen either, which seems to be, it's the right crowd. I mean, you've seen people catch fire, but I say when you least expect it. Next up, we had Anita Vaughan taking on Evaniel, a rematch from Tag Festival for the Shotgun title. This was, let's say, the rematch from Tag Festival weekend. And we did have Levaniel trying to ride out the clock, do the whole time wasting thing like he did at Tagfest. I thought it was a decent match. First big win, first televised win with a title for Anita. Who knows what's next for Levaniel, because this felt like it was either going to be ongoing feud or whether it's just going to be, that's it, you're done. And with a Shotgun vlog, it very much feels like that's him out the Shotgun scene for a while.
Yes. I feel you need to get Levaniel away from this. Give him something else to do. as much as well, as much as I think Lavagnu's reign's maybe been a bit hit or miss, I feel like he's proved himself to be able to sort of hold himself in. Doesn't necessarily need a belt to be to sort of justify his inclusion on the shows, if you know what I mean by that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's. It's not like 4 years ago where he was comic relief. Now he's proven himself, but it's that awkward ground of, you've held both singles belts unless you go for the Euro belt, but that's not exactly in play at the moment.
yeah,
It's like we said earlier, booking the champions and after the no longer champions. I think that's is this where this goes next. I know when we're going to touch the shotgun block and what's been announced for Hamburg. But yeah, this very much feels like it's going to be that very eggy period between now and Carat. Like, does he go straight into Carat again? What happens next? Now he's had the big run. I mean, that shotgun title run, nearly pretty much 7 months. That's pretty substantial. But yeah, again, it's that whole thing of we're a far cry from the days where everyone on the card had their clearly defined matches, their feuds and what they're aiming for. Now it seems, it's not quite month to month where you have a match announced in 3 days notice, but changes the face of the company. But it does seem like with Daniel, we're now that bit where we're waiting to see what the next bit written form is, if you know what I mean.
yeah. It's yeah. There's places you can go. Hopefully it doesn't go down the nihilist route like Emil Satochi.
Oh God. Well, he doesn't look anything like Gary Neville, so it'll be fine.
Yet.
He's not having plastic surgery. Anyway, main event time. We've got the sleep paralysis music again because Peter Tihanyi take on Elijah Blum. First official defense. We're not counting the fake Elijah over Tag Festival. So this one I thought was built up really well, like during so we'll touch on this in a second, but they've been releasing stuff from the town shows now. So was it Tihanyi and Mark against Roman and Bloom from Bad Säckingen?
Yes.
That was a really good match because,
good. Yeah,
I mean, especially to get over the whole Bloom count, because all we've seen has been snippets like, shotgun, him screaming and Furious Rage Tag Festival, doing almost Brian Pillman stuff. So to then have that actually portrayed in a match scenario where he kept his temper, but then Tihanyi and High Performance Limited poked the bear, they needled and needled and needled, and then he just blew his stack, and that's what led to the DQ. And I think here you saw something like that again where he had his moments, but again it was the forward interference and distractions that kept cutting out the knees, and then the post match stuff at the end. But yeah, like for me, this was. I say you said it was your match night. For me, it was very close number 2. But I'm really loving what I'm seeing out of Elijah Blum. First real big spot in this kind of level.
Yeah, and I think he's holding his own as well. There's always a little bit of a concern when you get somebody elevating into a higher position, and especially somebody with maybe as little experience as, not to say Bloom is inexperienced, but me and you both have have seen his debut sort of on tape, so it's not as if it's a he's been around that long, Yeah, but I think he's certainly holding his own in this sort of level, and I feel this story is very interesting, and it's a bit different to what they've maybe done in the past. It feels quite well formed around sort of the world of the company, in the sense of like Elijah Blum. It wouldn't surprise me if Elijah Blum sort of showed up, in any of the matches. He could end up. It's almost like he can't get a Peter Tihanyi. Is he going to go and have a go at Fennec or something like that? It wouldn't surprise me if he did do something like that.
And again, we'll touch on the Shotgun blog in a second, but the fact that he's made it known that Tihanyi is the main one, but remember Anil Marek also turned his back on him early on the whole High Performance Limited stuff. Yep. So it's not just a one-note story. Yeah, if you could, I know we were talking in the last episode, is this the Carat main event? Could well be. but I think you really want to keep that off. And heck, maybe this is even the Kefik Extractor, or I don't know how you shoehorn dry screen to it to keep that thread going. But yeah, this very much feels like.
Could you do the Kefik Schlacht as a 4-way for the title? You do Ilya, Peter, Dreisker, and Roman.
Potentially, why? I mean, I would always prefer the Kefik Schlacht as like a
Me
War
too.
Games tag thing, just because
that's the
you
tradition.
don't mess with tradition. They did it with Eigel and Fennec last year, but that was to end that feud. This one, to make it just a 4-way in the cage, I would rather they didn't. But again, that's the kind of match where we definitely have all the threads crossing each other. Maybe not Dreisker and Bloom, but pretty much everyone else. But yeah, I mean, certainly, take out the first half for sure, pretty much. Fan's a pretty strong card, and we're heading into Broken Rules in Hamburg, the Markthal in next weekend, pretty much.
Yeah.
As this goes up. Shotgun Vlog got dropped early today, so just a few key beats here.
Thanks to change to be before we record.
Yeah, normally this gets posted and then Mark Ed outputs a video, it's live. It's like, oh god damn it, the card's up, but we've got that before we were live. Yeah, a couple of bits, so obviously stuff in there to build up Hamburg. Alex Duke wants to build momentum with the big bucks of Norman Harris. Robin Christopher Forwerk petitioning for action against Elijah Blum because of what happened after Fan. Had a good pull apart between Lawrence Roman and Robert Dreisker outside the batch cap. Always love seeing those pull. Actually, was it? Oh, I should have checked this beforehand. Was it the batch cap where we had that long Dreisker and Jørn Simmons match many years ago?
No, I think that was in Hamburg.
Let me do the admin on that, because that's one where they did the whole thing where they turned up their gear and it was like in and out throughout an episode of no, we're both wrong. It was Bielefeld.
Oh well, they were.
Yeah, it's looking up Road 16 Carat Gold 2019 Bielefeld Avalanche versus Jørn Simmons, no contest, 81-48. God bless cage match for timing that from start to finish, but well, some names on this card as well. Norman Harris and Timo Price, Mari Solani and Leon Van Gasteren, Bobby Guns, Fight Mullen, Vinny Vortex against Absolute Andy and JFK. There's a bit of a time capsule show for you. But and again, outside scraps always good, especially when we're building up a street fight. See how that one goes in Hamburg, because that one, if you've got the power crowd on form, that could be a late contender for at least for WXW's match of the year stuff.
Yeah, of course.
Levaniel pissed off in defeat, and again he's not exactly happy, as we've touched on. Who entered himself in Carat. Anit Vaughan, she's got Stephanie May's Broken Rules. Then we had some on-location stuff. So Manders and Thomas Shire, I guess this was out after the St. Louis Anarchy show last month. Manders trying to get Thomas Shire a beer. He's not, I guess he doesn't drink. Thomas Shire was offered a spot in Carat, turned it down because he reckons Manders is winning. But Thomas Shire is going to be over for Carat weekend. Third time's the charm, he's going to be in Ambition, and it may as well throw the rest of that out now, because if he's in, I've got a feeling this is the year where he gets the rice pudding on Saturday lunchtime.
Exactly, and Arbe's in the super fight, so
which we'll touch in a second. So the two other big contenders, not even in the tournament, so clear run through. Although hopefully not like West Ham and just absolutely choke. But let's not. Then from quote unquote Japan, Mike D announced a present for Nick Schreier. He's got Sean Lexi in Hamburg. Again, doing the whole taking on big guys and prove yourself kind of thing. So we'll see how that unofficial trial series keeps going. Mari Solani had a spot chewing out Hector for wasting his time with Dennis Dulnik. And we've said this, young Jim Pumpguns, why would they go down that road, Mike, out of nowhere?
Young Jim Pumpguns. Yeah, exactly. Well, it was kind of my thoughts. I said to you sort of when he was announced, it was like, well, Alani's been doing stuff with Hector for a while. I wonder if that's a thing that they could do. was kind of a little bit disappointed that Aloni doesn't appear to be announced for anything in the future, but it was good that he at least got the shotgun blog.
Was a bit the end of a shotgun. Oh no, he hasn't. No. So yeah, maybe it was a kind of thing of we didn't have the dates for him, but that's to have that like a couch and a bit of string dangling to taunt us all. Because yeah, after Tagfest, no Dulnig, he's only had that bad sacking and Sean that match didn't make tape. Hector, he had singles matches after they lost the tag title, so you're very much laying the path for potential both going separate ways, whether it's Dennis doing single stuff or we have a different tag team coming out of this.
Yeah, and that's the team we want. That's the team I'm well happy to see, because unfortunately, I think Dennis and Hector is too similar to Mike D and Nikki.
And also they've had that story for a year, and I don't say played out, but where do you go with that? At least with a similar but different connection between Mike D and Nick. You've still got the Nelson Muntz and Martin Prince thing, but not quite the same vibe. So see what comes of that, which we'll touch on to something that's going to be later in the vlog. Tassel Young fining Elijah Blum €1,000 for what's happened in Femme Fatale and all that. Elijah's refusing to pay, so if he doesn't, he's going to be suspended. So I suspect there's going to be a lot more hit and run type run-ins from him in the near future. Oscar taught Yuto some local lingo. KXS looking forward to this weekend shows in Ostdeutschland, so they'll run up there. And then the last thing in the vlog, a surprise benefit scramble match. We'll announce the names later, but last time we had that was Broken Rules 2022, won by Orshi, so she could put herself in Femme Fatale, which, see who gets in there, or see who wins and what they pick, because obviously this is after Tag Festival weekend, and crucially, none of them announced would even qualify for Femme Fatale unless they, stuff we maybe shouldn't be going into, but anyway, some things which have been announced. So we already touched on Miss Manders, a second name announced for Carat, along with Psycho Clown, which, I mean, when this got announced something, he's got to have worked Europe. Yeah, we've both seen his last show in Europe, yes. Royal Albert Hall 2015.
Yeah, Lucha Future.
Which,
with
that was...
Jr. paying a tuba.
No, sousaphone. I remember Googling that after, pretty same thing. So Dragon Kid's the third. So Dragon Kid's the first name. But something else I looked up. He's old enough to have worked Monday Nitro and Worldwide. There are fans probably listening to this who weren't around when those shows were on air, Mike. How old are we?
Well,
don't answer that.
I'm as old as you.
Well, yeah. But, by the way, get well soon to Dragon Kid. He had a bit of an injury scare at the Dragon Gate King of Gate tournament a couple of weeks ago. It looked really bad from what I was told, but apparently he's been effectively diagnosed as, I guess, what amounts to a sprained neck. He was pulled off of King of Indies in America upcoming this month. Was also pulled from a Taiji Shimori produced show this past week's, but that's more out of an abundance of caution rather than anything else. Because who announced for Carat on the Shotgun vlog, Thomas Shire's already said. We also have a Ambition Super Fight for the show on March 8. Fuminori Abe against Takuya Nomura, the Fighting Detectives once again.
Yes, I know. And it's awesome. The reason why they wanted to do this match is because they wanted to follow in the footsteps of Ikeda and Ishikawa.
Oh God, the headbutts we're going to get.
Yes, but they did. That was explicitly said that that's the reason why they wanted to do the show in Eberhausen. They want to show follow in the footsteps. So that's awesome. I'm really happy.
That Saturday afternoon, I think, is potentially still the weekend. Obviously, we've got next to nothing else announced, but that Saturday already is looking very tasty.
Yeah.
Because as we touched on earlier, best wish to Igel Blanc. He's out on the shelf for next little while of injury. WXW have pretty much said he won't be at the anniversary show, so probably looking early 2025 at the earliest for he's back. Something else we also touched on, they're also releasing stuff from the town show. So 3 matches from the Bad Sackingen Wheel of Wrestling Live went up. 2 on WWE Now subscription, 1 free on YouTube. Only with German commentary, so you've got Mike D and Elijah Blum rematch for the European title there. Elijah Blum, Lawrence Strowman against Tihanyi and Anil Marek, that was the free match. Zeritus against Nick Schreier was behind the paywall, but certainly if you haven't got a WWE Now subscription, and if you listen to this, why haven't you? Dive into that Blum and Roman tag, because that really set the stakes for
that was really good.
The fan match we just talked of. And finally, if you're wondering why there's no European title defense at Fan, well, Mike D's over in Japan because he's part of a real world tag league. Yeah, like this was so I kind of keep like a glance and like, especially because it's tag tournament season over there right now. For the All Japan tournament, there was an X and XX team, which the whole shorthand is X is an unknown, and if there's multiple, they go X, XX, XXX, that kind of thing. Makoto Oishi, formerly of DDT, was first one, and he announced Mike D as his partner, which that was some Fire Pro, like random booking stuff. Which, I mean, hey, it's first 2 of Japan, and we haven't been here for a while, so we may as well dig out the international superstar stuff. Of course, Jacob Crane's still in Japan, in the thick of his second tour there with Big Japan, although unfortunately the results are very familiar. He hasn't won yet. I think his last win in Japan was May 26th, teaming with Tempesta. There's a bit of a throwback for you. But Jacob Crane lost in a tag match to the Astronauts on his return. Only singles match at the end of last month in Tokyo, lost to Daichi Hashimoto. I think he's been doing stuff with Daisuke Sekimoto as well, so very much keeping in the orbit with folks who've made a trip over to WXW. So still getting the reps, getting the experience, and at least from looking at his Instagram reels, having a whale of a time over there, even if results aren't bearing fruit.
Yeah, did you see the picture of him being bent in half by Sekimoto?
I did not know.
It's in this week's Tokyo. Is it Tokyo Sports or Wrestle Weekly?
Weekly Pro, yeah.
Yeah, Weekly Pro. I'll have to dig it out for you because he's literally being bent in half like a croissant.
Oh God!
it's quite funny.
Well, you go for Japan for that. I mean, you're not getting that in Germany unless maybe Daisuke's heading back to Germany next year. Who knows? That's apparently rumour.
That was confirmed by our correspondent Snowboy when he went on that Big Japan ship.
Oh God, ship. Yes.
He did say that he wants to do WXW one more time. So
maybe just want to see if that burger at Nippy's is still as big as it was.
Yeah, exactly. We need to do more bowling.
I'm up for everybody else is. Of course, Mike D still in, starting Japan. Opening match in the Real World Tag League was defeat. He and Oishi losing to the reigning champions, the Saito brothers. But all the reports I've seen, not had a chance to see the show, everyone who I've seen talk about it, Mike D absolutely stole the show. I mean, this is in Corkin Hall, so he's absolutely, he's what's the American analogy? He's hitched out for park on his Corkin debut. So I would not be surprised if other people see that and start putting feelers out, because I know we were talking about that whole WID thing that seems to be for North American wrestlers, but certainly there's that whole TNA thing which I don't think went anywhere. But if you're putting on performance like that in Japan on top of what you're doing in America, in Europe,
yeah, exactly.
He's bigger things can be destined for Mike D in 2025 if this keeps up.
Well, there is the saying that if pretty much everybody who sees Mike DiVecchio, they have about 25 seconds of the match before they realise that Mike D is the best wrestler in the world.
Yeah,
he's immense, absolutely crazy.
So coming up, we've got a weekend in Ostdeutschland. So Wheel of Wrestling Live at the Factory in Magdeburg. So we've got partial cards. Some of these matches will be taped and released on YouTube. We've got KXS against Youngblood, non-title because, of course, we're doing that in Hamburg. Baby Allison against Jay Nero, and the Big Bucks against Nick Schreier and the Surfing Boy Dominic Fisher. Landon Hale against Ryan Clancy against Ahura against Hector is also announced for Magdeburg. The next night, November 16th, the Stadthalle in Limbach Oberfrohna. Ahura against Lawrence Roman and Hector against Landon Hale are the 2 matches announced so far. Then the next night for Hellraiser in Leipzig, November 17th, nothing announced for that. You'd expect something will come from there. And then the following weekend, November 23rd, Saturday night, Broken Rules at the Markthal in Hamburg. We have a full card, so we'll start at the bottom and work our way up. Fight Forever pre-show, we've got the High Performer Limited trio of Anil Marek, Icarus and Baby Allison, taking on Yokai, Palavan Nima and Aluna. And one of those names not like the other. Aluna, I believe, a new wave trainee out of Wales. So, yeah, there's, again, add to the list of bookings you did not expect in 2024. Lavaniel taking on Fancy Ryan Clancy. Sean Lexie against Nick Schreier. The surprise benefit scramble match. Ahura against Hector, Landon Hale and Joseph Fennick Jr. Just going to ponder what that surprise benefit could be if Hector wins. We've got the shotgun title, Stephanie Mays challenging Anita Vaughan. The street fight for Shot of the Unified World Wrestling title, Robert Dreisker against Lawrence Roman. And the tornado match for the tag titles, Kicks and Suplexes, that's of course Axel Tischer and Fast Time Mudo against Youngblood, Oscar and Yuta Nakashima. And I've only just realised, no Peter Tihanyi on this show.
Interesting. Yes, that's a very good point.
And then after that, we have, Balkan Wheel of Wrestling Live, December 20th. The 24th anniversary show in Oberhausen on December 21st. And announced this past week, Back to Roots 2025, January 18th at the Turbine Hall. Again, we knew that date was there. Now we know it's Back to Roots. So, hey, maybe for K-Frick Schlacht, that's kind of a given. But yeah, that's the end of 2024 for Dexter started 2025. And yeah, I don't say it's limping towards the end of the year. There's definitely green shoots starting to appear. But yeah, very interested to see what comes out of Hamburg in just under 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, that's that does look like a pretty decent card. I'm hoping that main event will be a big fiery Hamburg Classic main event. I've kind of got a lot of hope for the Dreisker street fight as well, for the same reasons as I say every single time he's in one of these matches. So yeah, I think that's going to be, and I think Vaughan and Mays is actually that could be a bit of a sleeper hit as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I think again, if it depends on the crowd. I know the last time they ran Hamburg, we pretty much shot on the finish of the Lavaniel Oscar match from a great height because they were so close to having a big moment that would be in all those video packages, and then you got the count off finish, which was bleh. But I mean, play this right, that KXS Youngblood match could be the true homecoming win for Oscar. I just hope they haven't locked away the rice pudding for next weekend because you don't want to do that twice in Hamburg. Please don't kill the town.
Don't do it.
But anyway, so that's next weekend live on Triller and WXW Now. So if you've got either of those, you are covered. Mike, where can we find you on social media? And are you doing what the rest of us seem to be and switching to the blue clear skies now that the gloom's cleared away?
You can find me on at Mike Kilby on literally everything, including Blue Sky. I was on Blue Sky anyway, but I'm now using it more often. I post more long form things on there, I suppose, more thoughtful. It's a more thoughtful place. I don't know. I'm trying to keep it a little less shite on me timeline on that one. But yeah, no, it's I'm on Blue Sky. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I'm on most things. They're the ones you want to follow me on there.
Yeah, if you're on Blue Sky, search for IanWrestling.com. That's where you'll find me. BackBodyDrop.com as well on Blue Sky. Search for BackBodyDrop on Twitter, Instagram for photos and what have you. And yeah, we'll be back in a couple of weeks after Broken Rules. And say, if it's the first time listening to us, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a review, all that good stuff. Every little helps, as some supermarkets used to say. But yeah, thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll see you in a few weeks' time after Hamburg. Cheers!
Tschüss.